And basically, I want to talk about big government, big spending on this first segment. As we go ahead on December 30th of last year of 2022, the president went ahead and signed a $1.7 trillion spending package into law, and also 18 senators that are Republicans voted for this in the Senate. 9 House Republicans voted for this in Congress. This massive spending bill, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I call this big government, big spending, is because when you have a government like ours that was designed to be small, if you read the original founding fathers' intentions of our government, they wanted us to be a small government. They wanted government not to be involved with people's lives. This is why they went ahead and went against the British, if you think about it, because the British were overreaching to the colonies. They were saying, listen, guys, we're going to charge taxes on tea. We're going to go ahead and oppress y'all. And they're like, well, you're way across the water. How do you know what we need? So they designed our government to be small government. It was a republic that the government did not get involved with private people. Yes, we have state governments. Yes, we have local governments. We have all that. You have some sort of aspect of government involved with your life, but it wasn't supposed to control your life. And that was the original intention of our founding fathers. Our founding fathers did not want big government. They did not want big spending. But as we go along, now look, I'm gonna talk about that $1.7 trillion package, but I disagreed with Trump when he did things like this. When Trump went ahead and put big budgets and big spending, and the Republican Party went ahead. I was not on the air then, so you can't go back and listen to me, but I was against this. I don't like government spending a lot of money, especially our government when they're about to go ahead and shut down. They say, hey, we're just gonna go ahead and extend our debt, or we're gonna go ahead and just extend pass a bill that's going to cover us until the next fiscal year. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody else that does this in America or anybody else that does this in the world, they would not survive. If a business would do this, if a business will run out of capital and say, well, we're just going to borrow and keep on borrowing, sooner or later the bank's going to say, no, you cannot borrow. But our government has an unlimited supply of credit for some reason. Now we know that with China and everything like that, we know that there's some things behind the scenes, but ladies and gentlemen, our government just passed $1.7 trillion spending bill. Now, this is why I disagree, and this is why a lot of conservatives, I'm going to pull out some points, but President Biden signed this on vacation. He was out of the state now, but ladies and gentlemen, the Senate passed this on December 22nd, and the House had to go ahead the next day and vote on it. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe when the House got this bill and when the Senate got this bill, the bill page, the law, had 4,155 pages to it. Listen to this. The legislation, now this is supposed to be Optima's bill, which says it's a one single document. This is according to Wikipedia. But you can add things to it. Ladies and gentlemen, 4,155 pages. And they only had a few days to deny it or approve it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how many staffers you have, you're not going to read 4,155 pages in 2 days. And if my memory serves me correct, I think it was presented to the House on the 18th. They hurried and passed it, got it to the Senate on the 22nd. The Senate passed it 68-29, and then it went back to the House where it passed 225 to 201 the next day. And they went ahead and they sent it to the president's desk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I understand that the government is about to shut down. But ladies and gentlemen, especially Mitch McConnell, why did Mitch McConnell voted for this? Mitch McConnell went ahead and endorsed this bill. Now, there were some conservatives asking him, please don't do this. Please don't put our country in a mess. Do little certain spendings till we get the next Congress. That's how you normally do it as a minority leader. Especially, he didn't gain power in the Senate, but he's going to gain power in the House. And that's all kind of ruckus right now. We're going to talk about that on the next episode. But ladies and gentlemen, the 118 Congress should be Republican. They should have the Ways and Means Committee has to go through them. Every budget plan has to go through the Republican Party starting in January of this year. But what does Mitch McConnell do? He makes a deal with the Democrat Party. He makes a deal with the Democrat Party to help them pass their legislation on stuff. This should have never been passed, ladies and gentlemen. But the Republican Party, and this is where I'm going to come to the point, and if you know me good, I'm going to go ahead and hold the Republican Party accountable. The Republican Party, ever since the midterm election has been done, have been siding with the Democrat Party. They have been doing things behind closed doors to pass bills, and the Republican Party is at fault to blame. I can't blame the Democrat Party no more by themselves. I bet you if Rush Limbaugh was alive, Rush Limbaugh could not go ahead and say, hey, it's all the Democrats' fault. Because it isn't. The Republican Party is at fault as well. They are allowing things to happen, and the Democrat Party is getting their way. And look, it's the same thing in Louisiana, ladies and gentlemen. I've never, ever seen a Democrat governor have this much power in a Republican state. Normally, Democrat governors are lame duck. If they have a Republican House and legislation, Louisiana ain't like that. John Bel Edwards can do everything he wants, because the Republican Party of Louisiana goes ahead and sides with the establishment, and they give the Democrat governor what he wants. And that's what I hate to see it. That's what we're seeing in our nation right now. The Democrat Party, they cannot have the House. They might not have the Senate. They might not even have the presidency. But it's always funny how they always get what they want. Why? Because there's rhino Republicans in the back that are being part of this big government to send this off. Now, the bill adds up to 504. Some of the things that the bill pays for. The bill accumulates $858 billion to military spending, $45 billion more than Biden requested. It has another $772.5 billion in non-defense spending. Ladies and gentlemen, now I understand why the Republican Party sided with this, because they would go ahead and say, well, it's for our military, it's for our protection. And I agree to an extent. But you know what's the bad thing about this legislation? This is the first thing that's popping up on the article from the Daily Wire. This is something good. You want to spend on military spending. But to get this passed, and other things that the Republican want to pass, they had to vote for things that would hurt our nation. Like what, Isaac? Well, let's go ahead to the next thing. $1.7 trillion bill is loaded with earmarks, carve-outs, and favors for a number of lawmakers. So the reason for some lawmakers wanting this bill to pass was for selfish reasons, not to help the American people. Think about this, ladies. Oh, this bill is going to keep the government open, that you can go ahead and function your normal life. Ladies and gentlemen, when the government shut down with Donald Trump, did anybody besides the people that worked in the government suffered? No. To be honest with you, look, the day after Christmas to New Year's Eve, Congress was not in session. The Senate was not in session. You did not hear nothing from Joe Biden. And guess what? Did America crumble? No, the government was off. And look, the government not trying to help people. I think it's Ronald Reagan that said it the best. He said the four words that you would hate to hear a politician: the government is here to help you, or five words. So what they did was they did this for selfish reasons. This is why they passed a 4,155 page bill that didn't have to read, because some of these politicians, I bet you 9 out of 10, a lot of them Republicans got what they wanted in this bill. Heck on everybody else. Heck that this bill is going to put us in super debt. Heck that is not going to help the American people. It's going to help us and fill our pockets. This is one of the reasons why this bill was passed. Let's go on to the next. The bill contains provisions such as $410 million in funding for border security for the country of Jordan, Libya, Egypt, Tashana, and Oman. Ladies and gentlemen, when I read this, and look, I wrote this on my note. So you're telling me we're going to pass a bill in America that's supposed to help Americans. Now, I didn't even write on this how $45 billion of these dollars are still going to Ukraine. That's in a whole story of itself. I forgot to put that in my notes. But listen to this. $410 million are going to countries overseas. And you notice Israel is not one of these countries. one of our allies. But they want to go ahead and send $410 million to 4 other countries in the Middle East to protect their border. And we cannot build a wall in the United States. We can't even bring it up that we need people. We need to protect our southern border because there's almost 3,000 people coming across it every year now since backwards Biden has been in office. Now, people might wonder why I call him backwards Biden. This is a prime example. Sending $410 million to the Middle East, to 4 countries that are listed on my notes, and we can't go ahead and secure our own border. How backwards is that, America? How backwards is that? That you have a president, you have a Congress, and you have a Senate that rather pay to protect other people's borders, but will not protect our own. And why? And people might wonder why I get mad at the Republican Party. Remember, there was 18 Republican senators that voted for this. There was 9 House Republicans that voted for this. Republicans are screwing us in the rear end. I'm sorry. I can't just blame the left. I have to blame the right when they do something stupid, and this was stupid. Half of our senators are rhinos. Because if you notice, any bill that gets passed by the left, there's about 18 to 20 senators that get involved with them and everything passes. There's about only maybe 22 to 20 conservative senators in our Senate. And those 18 to 20 that are rhinos need to get out. Oh, that just blows my mind, ladies and gentlemen. But remember, big government, big spending. We don't care. We're going to spend the money whatever way we want it. Also, the bill contains $1.2 million for LGBTQIA plus pride centers. $477,000 for equality institutions in Rhode Island to indoctrinate teachers with anti-racism virtual labs, and $3 million for American LGBTQ plus museums, according to the Heritage Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, so I got 2 points on this. When did the government start supporting a lifestyle or a belief? Okay, look, I'm heterosexual. Look, I'm married. I have 3 children. I believe that marriage between a man and a woman. I want to go ahead and start a marriage pride center or a marriage center. Let's celebrate marriage between a man and a woman, and I want the government to fund it. You know what they're going to tell me? No. I want Christian equality institution where Christians are equal to everybody else, and I want the government to fund it. Nope. Oh, I want a Christian museum. Hey, let's even better yet, they're there. Let's support Ken Ham and the Ark Encounter. Let the government give them some money. Nope. You know why? What they're going to go ahead and say? Oh, separation of church and state. See, if a Christian asks for money from the government, they won't get it. Separation of church and state. You can't have that. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, when did the government start supporting a lifestyle and a belief? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I've learned if the belief goes against Christianity and go against Christ, the government's for it. Why? Because we have anti-God, atheists, no good scumbags in Washington, D.C. I hate to call them that. I pray for them. But they're God haters. And this is why this legislation is passing. President Biden is a Catholic. Catholic my foot. I think I'm more Catholic than him, and I'm not even Catholic. I'm non-denominational. Ladies and gentlemen, this has gone too far. But this is what it is. Big government, big spending. This is why this bill is getting passed to $1.7 trillion being passed in this bill. Because we have big government now. All these politicians, and this is my last closing point. All these politicians saying, we want to get back to what the founding fathers wanted us to do. Good. Cut down government. Cut down spending. Let local governments take care of it. But they won't do that because, ladies and gentlemen, half these people, the ones that passed this $1.7 trillion bill, went ahead and they believe that government is your friend and government should be in control.